All right, did you watch AEW Dynamite?
Yes, I did.
So 2 weeks ago, they got
read the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do. 2 weeks ago, 870, 874 last week, and 871 this week.
I mean, they have their audience, you know. Yep. It's very difficult to sit there and say, like, you know, that this show is in a definite holding pattern, and you know, whatever. But I will say this: there was 2 excellent things on this show, right, that I liked a lot. One of them was not Jon Moxley versus Commander, which opened up the show. I don't know why this this is a fail on their part. Okay, you had 2 really good talking segments on this show. Okay, that furthered storylines, and you're just surrounded by a bunch of stuff that had no stories and flat. And like, I didn't understand what the purpose of this match was, where Moxley just wrestles Commander and beats him. You know.
Right, and so here's 2 things
with Cassidy, or there was just a match with the win against a guy that he should have beat quicker than 8 minutes and 43 seconds, but they had to get Commander. You know, what you think?
Right. So on my Twitter feed, I follow AEW or Tony, one of the 2, or maybe both. I'm not sure.
Right.
And on it came up where Tony had written, I had to make some last minute changes due to Hurricane Idalia and some other travel issues. So maybe this wasn't the original match, because I read that after I saw the show. But when I was watching the show, it's like, okay, so this guy's going to go for the title at All Out against Orange Cassidy by beating Commander? How's that supposed to get, you know what I'm saying? Beat somebody with some name value, you know? The other thing was that I didn't like the fact that they had, you know, I like the fact that they didn't have to have a 15-minute match like they always do in AEW or WWE, just to show that the guy can hang. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, he beat him pretty quick, which I think he should have beat him quicker. But
isn't that funny? 8 minutes is quick these days.
Yeah,
you know, it's not
I would have done it quicker.
40, right. It should have been a 4-minute match. Just give the guy a couple of his high flying spots and let him miss one of them and beat him up and pin him. You know, that's right. It would have done just. It would have done just as much if this guy jumped him on the go, like Moxley went for something and missed. And Commander hit him with the kitchen sink, like 3 big moves, you know, like all his acrobatics and missed one. And then Moxley, in a sadistic way, just beats him up for like 2 minutes and chokes him out. And it's a 5-minute match, and that would have told the story here, you know. So
exactly, and you got 3 minutes to do other stuff. And Commander did a lot less here, which leads me to believe that since Moxley's the veteran and the star, he probably put the match together and probably told this guy, "Bro, we don't need all that." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So this is like, okay, all right. Let me tell you, I've got some sources. I've heard some news. I heard some news from AEW, and this is probably easily verifiable. I mean, but like they don't have production meetings there, which explains a lot of the
that's crazy,
show, or
bro.
like double angles and stuff for thing and all that. And I understand, like, I think Tony's afraid of leaks is why they don't have the production meeting. Think like the finish is going to get leaked, which is, and I can see him being, you know,
I know, but Disco,
when Alvarez is reporting, he's talked to 12 people there, you know.
I know,
so like,
but Disco. As we were talking off air about this, because when I have production meetings, I just make sure I don't tell anybody what the surprise is. I just say surprise wrestler. And when they come in, we usually have them in another room, right? So nobody can leak that surprise. And I never give out finishes. So what is there to leak?
Oh, plus 2. You probably tell the guy.
Can't he do that? Can't he do that, Disco?
And plus 2, you probably tell the guys to show up after the show starts when all the production people are in the truck. You know, like, so you get right. So it's like, you know, it's very simple to to plug the leaks.
What leaks is he afraid of coming out? You know, just finishes and surprises. What else?
He doesn't want the finish of Commander and Moxley to get out. Like, you know.
No, he doesn't want people to know Gravity's going to do the moonwalk with the astronaut suit. He wants that to be a surprise. Wait a minute.
So then, when would announcers and commentators and staff and cameramen and everything get a format to work off of?
Maybe they get the form, but you can obviously see where they don't really narrate a lot of storyline stuff because they don't really know what's going on, and you see a lot of repeat spots in matches because there's not a lot of coordination between the agents because they don't. It's like, I don't know. They need to do a production meeting, okay? Because that's where all the holes are plugged in the production meeting, where people speak up and say, "Hey, wait a minute, we need to do." You know, we have everybody in a bunch of experienced people in a room together. You're reading the show, and if you think there's something looks wrong, you explain it like if Adam Cole is doing the spot at the end where he's sneaking up on MJF and MJF turns around. you realize if they're doing that in the main event, somebody say, hey, we're doing this exact same spot earlier in the show. And then somebody says, yeah, we can't do that, right. So
what TV show or that has no production meeting? Everybody from My Modern Family to
independent, non-televised wrestling shows don't have production meetings, okay? Then they don't.
Maybe those don't.
So
this is not an independent wrestling promotion, yeah.
Also, I heard a lot of the guys there right now are sleepwalking and just going through the motions. All right, which you can see on camera when I talk about this next segment. Excalibur introduced footage of the Young Bucks backstage after a match at All In. They expressed their disappointment. FTR walked into the room and asked why they disrespected them. Matt said it was supposed to go different because it was the show they started, and in the heat of the moment, he lost his cool. He attempted to apologize, but they were interrupted by the Bullet Club Gold, who actually brought some charisma and entertainment into this segment.
That is true.
And they started, bro. I don't know why FTR why they do this all the time. They let the heels torture them to their face all the time. Yeah. And then, their response is kind of like a respectful thing. It's like, so Cash, the what's his name? Cash Worth is like, hey, if that's what you think, why don't you guys get together and fight us and the Young Bucks at All Out? And I'm like, that's the build for this? This makes no sense at all.
I don't know this to be true, but the jibe I get is like,
Konnan, you got to get closer, bud. That's all.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. I just think the jibe I get is that, they're too classy to really respond or go down to their level. That's what I'm getting. I don't know if that to be true.
Yeah, that doesn't work in a compelling way.
No, it does not work. No, it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, they're supposed to be two guys from North Carolina. They dress in T-shirts and jeans. They should be kicked, bro. They should be showing up with
how this segment would go. Okay, if the Bullet Club Gold came in there and started talking trash to the tag team of The Rock and Mick Foley and DX and Billy Gunn and Brian James are there.
Right.
They just stand there and say
NWO, the Four Horsemen.
I mean, bro, you guys got to bring it on the mic. You kind of come across these guys. All of them come. The FTR and the Young Bucks come across as simps, and they do. In every verbal confrontation, they kind of just submit and they take it. Their body language looks like they're embarrassed. I mean, it's hysterical.
There's a little news here from Tony's press conference call or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing too big. He was kind of, he said he couldn't say stuff about Punk and Jack Perry, but he did say.
When can he ever say anything about anything?
Right.
But he did say his goal for All Out on Sunday is to have Punk status change or I can't talk today. Punk status revealed by that day. He says, that is my goal. I promise that is what I hope, that we have a resolution. I don't expect a full resolution, but I at least expect more info by then, and I'm going to keep working on it. And it's a challenging situation to say the least.
Joe, do me a favor. Do you get PW Insider? Do you have a subscription to them?
I do not.
Do not.
What would you like me? Would you like me to
look
start?
Up Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
Because they're on a paywall. But he reported, he confirmed the attendance of All In. Okay. And I want to know what that number is of the paid fans through the turnstile that were at that show. That's the only number. That's all I want. Because it's everybody's talking, saying all this. Just want to know what that number is. If we can get that. So see if you can look that up or get that from somebody. That whatever he said on his paywall, behind his paywall. So actually,
Paz said that he's getting a number from Wembley for the turnstile number.
Okay, see if you can do that.
Well, I'm waiting on that too. But
okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so this actually was a decent backstage promo because it showed character development and went through character storyline progression. They showed Soraya's win, and then Renee Paquette interviewed Toni Storm backstage, and she complained about Saraya going off script and that she can't trust anyone, and that Wembley went. And she started to walk away in distress, and she can't even trust her shoes, and threw them in Renee's direction, caused her to duck out of the way. So now Toni Storm is paranoid, which is okay, I can work with that because in this backstage segment, this was actually character development, and in one of the promos that they did where they didn't just say, I'm going to beat you, I'm coming, I thought this served a decent purpose. What'd you think of this?
Yeah. She's been one of my favorites since she turned heel, and not just because she's got days. She can just go, and she kind of comes off as a star. as a heel. And she's saying she can't trust Soraya. Then she took off her shoes and threw them at Renee. She goes, I can't trust my shoes. Is that a British thing? Or is that a white thing? Like when Joe said the girl skinned her knees when she, what was it? What was the term you used?
Crying like a little girl with a skinned knee. And I also used the term, like,
well, the girl like
throwing a tantrum.
Yeah. She's like, it's just crying.
I also used the term go getter earlier, so that could be considered probably a white term, right?
Go get her.
So this was, I thought she was doing just good for her character development. Yeah.
All right, so Jericho comes out in the shiny jacket, and Sammy comes out. So basically, Sammy comes out. Jericho addressed Sammy and said he wasn't happy about the way he treated him. Said he frustrated losing to Ospreay and he shouldn't have taken out on him. And Jericho introduced some confusion by saying he wasn't sure if Guevara did everything he could to help him win. But then there's footage of Sammy hitting Ospreay with a baseball bat and offered an apology. But then Jericho said the match really bothered him, and he wondered if he could pull the tights a little harder or if Guevara could have hit him a little harder with the bat. Guevara asked him to repeat himself and they began an argument. And Guevara got chippy with him about having to be in London to abandon his pregnant wife in Orlando. And Jericho said he expected to be grateful because that's something many people in the locker room would have killed for. Guevara replied that if he wasn't so focused on having Jericho's back, he would have wrestled on that show. And Jericho replied that maybe if he followed more of his advice, he could wrestle the show next year. Guevara thought he liked the sound of that, but he wouldn't follow up all of his advice so that he could actually win on their biggest show. Then Jericho then brought up his loss to MJF, and Guevara brought up the incident where Jericho lost the AEW title to the Steakhouse. In the end, Jericho decided they should stop throwing barbs. This was actually a very good exchange, okay? Because the crowd was getting into this. Jericho decided they should stop throwing barbs at each other and do what they do best for Formula. Go after the AEW Tag Team Championships. And Guevara thought about it and reluctantly agreed. This was a weird out on the segment. It's kind of flat on the out, but this exchange was really good. I like this a lot. What'd you think?
This was very good because he starts off with an apology to Sammy Guevara for pushing him at All Out. Right. Then real good logical back and forth between the two.
Right.
What I still don't understand.
Both of them being heelish too.
Right. What I still don't understand is you explained to me that in London the reason Jericho was heel was because of Will Ospreay. Why was a heel here? Heelish.
I don't know. But
I don't understand that. Okay.
Ospreay. He was probably.
Ospreay. We're talking about Jericho and Guevara.
Oh, I thought you said Ospreay at All In and Jericho being
no.
The heel
that's what Disco thought that he was being a heel in London. Okay, but why was he being heelish in this promo?
You got me on that.
I thought they were being heelish.
Yeah, but why? If he's a babyface.
I don't think they're wrong because I don't think he's a babyface, right? I don't know.
Of course, he's kind of a babyface. He didn't join Dawn, right?
I think they need to be. The thing is, they need to go forward as heels with their tag team because there's three good babyface tag teams to work with in what you call it, the Bucks, the FTR, and the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
So all those tag teams need heels to fight against, which is why I'm surprised they split up Swerve and AR.
Then why did Jericho do that babyface promo in Canada?
We're in Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who gives a You're a heel everywhere.
I'm just telling you what's happening. So I'm just I don't know why they're doing it. So next is Moxley made some comments about the international title. So no matter who he faced after tonight's match.
This was good and extra credit for Chris's jacket and shoes. Go ahead.
Right. So they said the winner would be the one with the most bites. This is a generic promo, did nothing. Eddie Kingston versus Wheeler Yuta. I guess these factions are still fighting each other, even though they keep having blow-offs and then matches after the blow-offs. Like that big stadium thing should have been the blow-off with these guys. I don't know. Wheeler Yuta's work is getting much better. He's much better heel than he is a babyface, okay? Because he sells pretty well and is kind of animated in selling. And Eddie's offense does not look good, but Yuta sells it well. So he made Eddie look good here, and then Eddie beat him in 9 minutes. Afterwards, Claudio walked to the ring to retrieve Yuta and refused to make eye contact with Kingston. And the crowd chanted for Kingston. He's made his way out of the ring. So what did you think of that?
Okay, can somebody explain to me the Japanese Openweight Championship? Because I don't.
New Japan Openweight Championship.
Right. Is this a major title? Is this like a secondary title, or is it a new title?
Secondary title.
Well, you got on. We went over this a couple of weeks ago. We were all confused because there's actually the Never Openweight Championship and the Strong Openweight Championship.
Which one is he?
That's Eddie's the Strong champion.
He's
strong Openweight champion. Strong Openweight, yeah.
I don't know. Okay, what the that? Okay, so I don't think most people care about that really.
They don't.
This was not a bad what?
Sorry, the Strong Openweight Championship is called that because it's named after New Japan of America's flagship show, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. So
so he's like the American version of New Japan champion.
Got it.
All right.
So
we had to look that up. We're gonna watch the show for 4 years.
Right.
Yeah. You think the announcers would explain what this thing is there at some point, right?
Yeah. Utah's a better heel than a babyface. It was a good match. People like Eddie. He hit him with 2 back fists, and then Claudio came in, and they just kind of stared at each other to continue that storyline. Okay. What else do I? The big thing about Eddie that I think people like is his promos, and he sells really well when he puts his mind to it. He sells really well. Yeah.
All right. So after they go to back, this is after their matches are all in, and MJF and Cole are selling. MJF is selling his neck. They're on the trainer's table, and MJF said he's going to take a couple weeks off, and then he clarified that there will be a battle royal on Rampage to determine who they would face at All Out, and a tournament to determine his challenger at the Arthur Ashe Stadium show on September 20th. Okay. Cole said if anyone deserved a week off, it was him, and congratulated him. Let me read you the take from what's his name? Jason Powell here. You tell me if you echo this. A battle royal and a tournament? Tony Khan cannot help himself. Kingston versus Yuta was a solid TV match, but I don't think the average fan is invested in the New Japan Wrestling Strong Openweight Championships. It doesn't really add anything in the form of stakes to this match, and AEW crowds love them some Eddie Kingston regardless. The fans do like it. I will say this. Bro, they keep having – I think the fans are getting kind of upset at, like, they always go to battle royals, tournaments, and stuff. I think, bro, it's like that's an absence of storytelling. Joe, I want you to look this up because this is the pay-per-view, okay? And MJF and Cole, who are 2 of your top acts on the show, arguably the 2 top acts, maybe the 2 of them they're the main event. Your main event pay-per-view in front of 80,000 people that just wrestle each other, right? Now there's going to be a tournament on Friday, okay, for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. So all these Ring of Honor guys are in this. Joe, can you read the names of the tag teams? And you tell me, Konnan, which of these tag teams, if they win, do you think will be credible pay-per-view opponents for MJF and Adam Cole?
Okay, I'm going to read the names, but I wanted to also go back to what you asked about Mike Johnson, his report on the number. Mike Johnson has reported, let me just make sure, I want to get the exact thing. Mike Johnson has reported that 81,035 was the 100 legitimate paid attendance to the ticket. AEW did not include comps or anyone else in the announcement beyond those who purchased the tickets, as they wanted the paid attendance to be the number that they announced. I understand it's not the turnstile number, but that's that would be the paid. No, if that's the paid attendance.
That's
what I'm saying.
Not tickets. So paid attendance is people bought the people that go through the turnstile. That's the attendance paid it. So they're not including comps and all that stuff. But 81,000 paid attendance. But I want to know where he got. I'd like to know where he got that number from. Whether he got it from Wembley or he's just repeating, like AEW. So see if Paz can get the number from Wembley just to confirm that. Because
you can get it. Paz's. I'm sorry, sources would either be Wembley or maybe the police department there, because that's where Brandon Thurston gets numbers for WrestleMania and stuff like that, the city's police department.
Okay, cool. All right.
So, so you wanted the names of these tag teams.
Yes, Konnan, you're going to pop. Now, mind you, these are the guys fighting to wrestle Cole and MJF at the pay-per-view.
I'm sorry, I was looking at 2 things at once. All right, just go ahead. I'm sorry, didn't have it in this report. I'll get it.
So Renee Young interviewed Sammy Guevara backstage. He started talking about being on the same page with Jericho, and Don Callis showed up. He tried to smooth him, and he quickly told him to take his hands off and get lost. So he just shunned him. And so actually, it might be in this report here. I might actually have the tag teams listed. No, it's you're trying to look for that.
It's so insignificant. I've been through 2 reports and it doesn't name the teams. It just says, and a tag team battle royal was announced.
Well, go look it up on the AEW website. I'm sure.
I got it. No, it was taped, so I got it. Okay.
All right, let's see it.
I can't I just went through the report and all it says is show was highlighted by a 20-man battle royal comprised of 10 teams on the Observer, and it's not listed teams.
Well, Disco saw it, so we're.
I saw the graphic on the. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me go on Hulu and try and find it.
Okay, here we go. Aussie Open. Best Friends, Hardys, Parker and Menard 2.0, Action Andretti and Darius Martin, The Gates of Agony, Silver and Reynolds, The Righteous,
Who? Wait a minute. Wait one second. Wait a minute. Is that the Righteous Brothers from the 50s? Yeah.
Nice.
The Righteous?
The
That's
Righteous
tremendous.
just so happened to be Vinny Marseglia.
Who?
He's known from
Is
Ring
that
of
the guy that used
Honor.
to make the pizzas over here in San Diego, Basic Pizza?
He was in The Kingdom with Matt Taven and TKO Ryan.
Oh, tremendous.
Okay.
And TKO Ryan, don't forget about
Ooh.
him. Right. That's tremendous.
Okay.
Who's
Cody.
the other guy in the Righteous?
All right.
Dutch.
Now
Dutch.
most.
Just like that?
Okay.
I'm trying to
here's
find a
one-
last name
all
here.
right. Here's a.
Bro, they love battle royals, and I've yet to see a good one there, even in AAA. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, okay, why on earth Matt Taven and what's his name, Mike Bennett are not in this tournament? Like this whole storyline is progressing for Matt Taven and what's it? Okay, well, let me go to.
Well,
the
there's
next
two more
segment.
teams.
Okay, we got-
Avalon, Peter Avalon, and Ryan Nemeth, and the Outrunners.
So
Ooh. Wait 1 minute.
who are these?
Who are they?
The Outrunners AEW team. Okay, Truth Magnum
Who?
and Turbo Floyd.
Wait a minute.
All right. Based on
These
those,
guys are in ROH, Joe, or did they used to be there? Because you're the historian.
That's the first I've ever heard of him. Let me see what info I can get.
So this is an ROH guy, Disco, and he's never heard of him.
Okay.
Well, it looks like most recently they were on Ring of Honor, OVW, and NWA Power back in July. So they've been all over. I guess this is their shot. Yeah, OVW, NWA, and Ring of Honor is where they've been.
Right. All right.
Yeah, there's
So I just from my having been in booking and Konnan, you've been in booking. I would put over either the Outrunners or the Righteous and have
Wait a
them
minute.
wrestle MJF and Adam Cole made the pay-per-view the pay-per-view on Chicago. Would you do that? Or
bro.
would you,
That's probably what I would do. But that's bro. They've been doing battle royals since like their first show. Remember the Casino
like
Royale and all that,
Every 2 months they have a battle royal.
bro. They suck. Why do they continue to?
Or a men and women's tournament? Yeah, sorry, Konnan.
Yeah, tournaments. Huge into tournaments. Huge into battle royals and huge into hardcore matches.
All right. So
This guy's name actually is just Dutch. So the Righteous is Vincent and Dutch, and also it's a stable, which I didn't know because this seems to be a Rampage thing. And Stu Grayson is also a member of the Righteous. There you go.
honestly, the most entertaining team they could put in that would be the our boys, the 2.0 guys, Parker Menard.
They're there.
I know they should. They're the ones that should go over because
Right.
they would probably have the best match with those guys, the most entertaining one. Because they
Right.
would go, bro. They can do tons. They can do all the gimmicks with the double close on the cape. They should go.
They're
over.
entertaining.
Right.
They're
They should
entertaining.
they should absolutely go over. You could do some storyline there with them. Okay,
Right.
so this
So
was
these guys, we're getting so much info on the Righteous now. Vincent and Dutch, the Righteous, were close to joining WWE. They were going to be a part of that Wyatt Six faction that went by the wayside. I think when Bray got sick. I think you know a little bit about that.
okay.
too.
On a scale of 1 to 10, that information is a 0. All right.
Right.
What? Yeah.
It's saying they'll be the AEW version of like a Wyatt type stable.
Okay, that's a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Right.
Right. All right. So Cole comes out. He starts talking about MJ and how his neck is banged up. So Roddy Strong, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven walk the ring, and Roddy's doing his Adam. All right. Cole said his entire thing is getting absurd. So Bennett's okay. Now, mind you, these guys have been on the show now doing this stuff with Roddy for like 3-4 weeks. Okay. And I really don't know much about these guys and stuff, whatever. Right. And I'm going to tell you what happened in the segment. After the segment, I'm going to tell you what I would have done with these guys because I'll just explain this. Okay. Cole said the entire thing's getting absurd. Bennett spoke up and detailed his history with Cole. From the match he had that got them signed to Ring of Honor and all the matches he had along the way that made them famous. And then Taven started talking. He called him selfish because he abandoned everyone who helped prop him up along the way. He left the Kingdom to join the Bullet Club, and then he left the Bullet Club to go to Florida and surround himself with all his friends. And Taven asked Cole if he looks at pictures of his past and only sees himself because that's the only person he's ever cared about. Cole then apologized. He made them feel that way, but they have to accept that MJF is his friend, even his best friend. Roderick refused to accept that. He spoke up and told Cole that he was entering the AEW Grand Slam tournament. Cole told him that was a mistake because his neck wasn't close to 100%. Roddy said he doesn't need to be 100% to defeat people decisively. He doesn't need roll-ups or diamond rings to get the job done like Cole's friend MJF because he's a wrestling legend. Cole told them off mic that he was making a mistake and they had done nothing wrong, and then they just cut. It was kind of an awkward out of this. But bro, why was this the first I've heard Mike Bennett and this Taven guy talk? They were really good on the mic. They told their backstory enough really well, and like it's honestly, the past 3 or 4 weeks on the show, this show, they should, since these guys are involved with these guys in an angle, they should have had a tag match with Matt Bennett, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven against Andretti or something, and beat them decisively in about 5 minutes. And as characters, they would be even stronger. They became pretty strong characters here in this storyline just off this mic work that they did here in this segment. They were both really good here. What did you think? Did you agree with that? That like I was impressed with this segment very much.
Here's the thing. Roderick has never been known for his mic work, right? And I thought he did a good job here, being kind of like a whiny. Because I love Roderick as a person. He's super, super cool. And the Taven and the other guy, I think they were part of some faction in Ring of Honor because I was watching it for a while.
Kingdom, they're called, or something like that.
The Kingdom, right? They were a faction there with the girl because she's married to one of them, Maria Kanellis.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought their promo work was okay. Okay.
Really?
But I thought they did. I thought no, in Ring of Honor.
Oh, Ring of Honor. Okay.
Okay. And one of them was an Impact. The one that's married with Maria was there in Impact, and his promos were not good, bro.
Right.
So I was not expecting this, and I thought this was very good.
Because they're talking about shoot stuff. You're in there with your friends, talk about their history. So it's not you're not really having to memorize a promo. You're literally telling the stories of their career.
But here's a problem that we always allude to. You've got to let new listeners know what the you're talking about, because if they're lost and they don't know what's going on, and you expect them to watch other shows or to know what's going on. Bro, that's just, I don't understand that, because like you said, people are probably wondering, people who've been watching the show, let's say the last month, the last 3 weeks, maybe it's the first time they're watching, they haven't watched it in a while, they didn't watch Ring of Honor, they're like, what the going on here?
Let me tell you exactly what these guys needed leading up to this, because it's the first time we've seen these guys talk, and they were really good. Like, then they had to tell their whole story. Bro, like I said, they should have had a match on Dynamite with Roderick Strong at the announcer's desk, narrating their storyline, so the fans are even more invested in this. Bro, we're going. The show's this weekend, like in 4 days, and like we're finally hearing from these, from these guys. Like, this was very good, but it's like, and it's not even too late. But I'm just looking. It's like, why have these guys not been telling this story more throughout this? Because they're good on the mic, So I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the problem that you have when you put two shows next to each other so close by, because they, were probably thinking so much about the London show that they really didn't think so much about the All Out, and it kind of shows because the show's not that good. The lineup's not that good.
Like Ryan, Tony as a booker has to understand, bro. Nobody watches Ring of Honor. It's on a subscription thing. It's like, what was it, 30,000, 40,000 people watch that thing anyway. So nobody knows when these guys are coming on. You have no clue who these people are. But they did a good job of like telling people who they are here, at least. So. And
now one more thing that they haven't really told. Yeah, they did. They did a good job. But they need to. But the commentator needs to say, hey, this was the Kingdom. There used to be a faction in Ring of Honor, and Roddy used to be part of it, or whatever the story is. Because I don't even know too well myself. But the other thing that you got to remember about this is he challenged him. Roddy challenged MJF for the Grand Slam tournament. I guess if he wins it, he gets a shot at MJF. So that was another little parallel storyline there. Bro, they love tournaments there, and I think they get that from Japan. Tournaments, battle royals, yeah.
The last update, DI, from Tony Khan in March was that at that time, Ring of Honor's Honor Club had 15,000 subscribers.
That's it? Yeah, bro, come on. You gotta when these you can't pretend like, I don't know. So
and that's up. That's up for prior to the purchase,
So next is they do a promo in the back bro, what do you think about your Penta Alex Abrahantes promos?
Brutal. Meant nothing. It was 30 seconds or less. Meant nothing.
Right. So next,
I mean, were you really, after watching that promo, were you really excited to watch the match?
Of course not.
Right.
Because you know who's going to win. So.
Right. Plus, the promo was meaningless. It was like,
all right. So
why even have one?
Some of Connan's favorites are in the next match. We had Nyla Rose, Emi Sakura, Marina Shafir against Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and Britt Baker. All right.
Good Lord.
This was a fast-forward match for me. They pinned Marina Shafir, who was wearing long workout pants with no shoes.
I think that's what she normally wears.
She does, but her character looks like she lost her shoes.
Right.
When she dresses like that, it's like I don't know, it's kind of a weird outfit to wear with no shoes, right? But what did you think the same thing?
No.
Okay, so
I just thought she wrestles in no shoes.
After the match, there's a big angle here. Statlander celebrated because she won, but Ruby Soho ambushed her, and she hit her with the future kick, and then she stole the title and took off with it, but then stopped at the top of the ramp and put it on the top of the ramp and pointed Statlander. What did you think about this? Are you excited now?
Well, here's the problem. You could have picked like 6 people from the audience and I would have been just as interested. Bro, nobody here interests me. You know what I mean? That's my problem. Right. And the problem is like, and they also had problem between Britt and I think it was Shida maybe. Yeah, Britt and Shida. They had tension, like something's going to happen between them. But bro, I just think that like Nyla Rose and I like Joe, what term do I use here for Nyla Rose?
She?
All right. She, according to Joe, Emma Sakura and the other girl,
Marina Shafir. Let's call her.
Yeah, right. All right. So I think that like Rose, let me go over it again. Rose, I want to get this right. Nyla Rose, Sakura,
right? Emmy Sakura,
Sharif, and Shida are like stale bread. Okay. Right. And I don't mean and mean nothing. Could we agree on that or no?
Storyline. They've nothing going.
They have nothing. No real person. Nothing.
Right.
Britt is over pushed. That's just And Statlander has no character development. At least it's better than that alien she was doing with the boop and all that.
World's greatest
which I thought was corny. Yeah. Right. And then they also announced for All Out. Listen to this match. You ready?
Yeah.
Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor.
We got a Shane Taylor promo, a video package.
Yeah,
and he looks like kind of like a Keith Lee guy or something.
He's a big dude, right? Yeah,
he's big, yeah. So, all right. So, hang on, give me 2 seconds here, guys. Work related. All right. So, all right. Bro, they do this all the time with these guys. So the Acclaim comes out, and they had a championship celebration with where they introduced the new trios championships, and they were pink belts, and they said they would have a ribbon cutting ceremony, and they did the Scissor Me Daddy stuff, and they cut the ribbon, and then they did they did all their scissors in the ring, but they announced, okay, bro, this whole segment, this is the gist of the segment, what it accomplished. They announced they would defend the AEW Trios title on Saturday Collision. No opponent was in nothing. Like, bro, they do too many of these segments that just to go out there and just do the Scissor Me Daddy in front of the crowd, which is like house show stuff. This is like a house show segment to get a pop. It did not. I don't understand why they didn't at least announce opponents or just, I don't know. What do you think it is,
bro? This is like the 4th time that they have a long in-ring which establishes nothing, advances, and means absolutely nothing. This is literally what they did. They cut a ribbon with humongous pink scissors, okay, and introduced the new trios titles.
Right.
And I think one of them was even a pink strap.
All 3 of them had pink straps, I thought.
Yeah. Billy looked like a male Barbie, bro. He was pink head to toe, neon pink shoes. He had a pink bow tie. I mean, and the people liked him, but dude, they did nothing. This was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And they were there for a long time.
It's weekly episodic television. There's no episodic TV here. This is just, come on, it's like a waste. So then we do Orange Cassidy against Penta El Zero Mero. Joe, go to my Twitter.
Yes, I have it.
Tweet. You have it ready. Okay,
I'm
going to play this for Konnan. I'm going to give him the opportunity because I posted on Twitter. I'm going to give you an opportunity to condemn this spot. Okay, because Penta's your boy from AAA and everything, and I've got no problem, poking that we could go back and start it.
No, I am. Yeah, and I got to change the speaker too.
Oh, no selling the Canadian Destroyer?
I want to watch it because I want to flip the fans on the video mailbag be able to see this. So, it's actually in the video mailbag. Why do we do this? Why do we do video on this when there's no mailbag? This is actually just video review.
Oh yeah,
Right,
well, yeah, good.
For patrons.
Oh, Canadian Destroyer! But Penta comes back with one of his own. One of his own. What the? We watching?
Yeah, was not a fan of that.
All right, bro. Okay, they're doing 3 Canadian Destroyers in a row, which are finishing move. They're no selling them, and the announcers are actually laughing at the spot. Will you condemn that spot?
Yeah, I will condemn that spot.
All right,
You know,
I got Konnan to condemn a spot. For good job. Place beyond that spot. These guys are not. This wasn't bad. But Cassidy wins with he crucifixed him. Okay, so after the match, Cassidy's all beat up and everything, and he grabbed a chair and a microphone, and so he's tired and his body hurts. He said every title defense the backpack gets a little heavier, but the international championship means everything to him. It's about somebody who was told he was too skinny, too short, and too different to make it. And he addressed Moxley and said that he better bring more than a fork because he'd be the international champion for as long as he wants. And he said his name is Orange Cassidy, and he doesn't have to have a catchphrase. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Cassidy's character, but he's completely 100% true to his character, and he does his character very well, which is why I think he's over, and he's not a bad worker. But I just can't get over how a guy this small is beating everybody and their mother every single week and having this big win streak. But he does have a good character. He does good TV, right? But yeah, I'm not interested in him and Moxley, to be honest with you. I thought the 2 in-ring interview segments were excellent, in my opinion. I was very entertained. Rest of the show was meh. And we were talking about earlier about how they don't have production meetings. Bro, they're doing the same angle with Cassidy right now that they're doing with MJF. They're all beat up and everything heading into their match this weekend. Their body. I don't know. It's they got no problem doing the same angles on the show. So what's your information? Go ahead.
Well, this was this was not a go-home show like Raw, but I just thought the only thing that interested me were the 2 things you just said, the 2 in-rings. Everything else was even though Penta and Orange was a good match, except for the not selling the Canadian Destroyers. I have no problem if the guys in the first match do it, because that's a video
game match,
right? Game match.
Right, yeah.
But come on, dude, that's a wicked maneuver that you could get a good false finish out of.
You're in the main event. You don't do these no sell indie spots. You sell those,
right?
And so you get the agony, show pain, show pain and come back. So not no sell the spots back and forth. So
yeah, but the AEW side's a lot more indie than it is what I'm saying, professional. Yeah.
Right.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. So what Joe, can you name me the top 3 matches on All Out? Because it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal. But I don't know. I forgot.
Well, first of all, they have to have the matches on Rampage to determine one of the matches this week, and they have to have match. They have matches on Collision to determine another match for Sunday.
So here's what it is: Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin TNT Championship.
Why was that angle not on this show? I was talking to Vince, and we were talking about. I was talking about the things that I'm interested in. All right, and the things that I'm interested in professional wrestling today are the the LA Knight Miz stuff, the Bloodline stuff, even though it's kind of flat right now because whatever. I'm interested in the Bloodline angle or the Judgment Day angle with the turmoil that are going. And on that side right now of WWE, that's kind of it that I'm interested in. I'm more interested now in the Jericho Sammy stuff. I'm interested in the MJF and Cole stuff. And I'm interested in, I think he does good TV and he should be on the show every week. I'm interested in every time Christian Cage is on TV cutting promos and stuff.
Right.
And doing TV. And they do not put him on hardly enough at all. And he should be one of your weekly compelling characters because he does great TV every single time he's on. And I don't know why he's on. Bro, he should have absolutely been on the show. I don't get it. Or maybe he's on Collision this weekend. I don't know, but he should be a weekly character every single week on this. Do you agree with that?
Luchasaurus and Darby, yes. And who's the other guy?
I'm just going to read you the whole card. So Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Okay.
Who?
Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs.
That was set up as a pre-show at the London show.
Right. Chris Statlander defending the AEW TBS Championship against Ruby Soho.
Okay, not interested.
Cassidy defending the international belt against Moxley.
Not interested.
Omega versus Takeshita, which will be big for that audience.
Not really that interested in that though.
Austin
Kenny's going to get his win back.
Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Jay White, and Juice Robinson versus FTR and the Bucks.
Not interested.
Ring of Honor tag team titles. Adam Cole and MJF, Better Than You, baby, versus the Dark Order.
They should. Yeah. Joe,
Versus
do you have
the Dark Order.
Reynolds and Silver, yeah.
Wait, what's on the pay-per-view?
That's for the pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view World Tag Team title, Ring of Honor titles. Cole and MJF versus Reynolds and Silver.
No. Go back to the match you just said previously with the Silver thing.
I just did.
Oh wait,
Reynolds
so Reynolds and Silver won the match on Rampage?
Well, they're gonna. Yeah.
Oh my god. All right.
And then Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor, Ring of Honor.
So why even watch a show now? Yeah.
Kingston and Shibata versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. 9 match card.
I mean, I'd be surprised if they do a decent buy rate on that at all.
Yeah.
Especially after people paid much last week.
Right. And it was noted from, I believe it was Tony that said All In is probably going to be their second highest buy rate. So that means a lot of people bought it, and this is going to get kind of, I think it'll undersell, you know.
All right. Well, that's been our AEW review.
Boom.